Okay, everybody, it's Miguel again. How's everyone doing today? Oh man, it sure is beautiful today, and oh boy, it's certainly not as dark as it usually is about this time. I guess daylight savings time is about to begin next week, next Sunday, and today is Thursday, so really Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So this is a really amazing time. I'm so glad to be back. I love I love this transition period every time. Oh my gosh, look at the beautiful sunset there is today. My goodness. Oh, I love the color of the sky. It's really quite beautiful. We even have pink, not just where the sunset is, but on the opposite horizon. Pretty amazing, man. Let's hear it for the sun and for this beautiful planet Earth. Hooray, hooray. All right, fantastic. Well, let's see what's going on. What's going on in my mind today? That is a good question. Sometimes I'm not even certain what's going on in my mind. Well, today was a good day. I had been feeling sort of down the last day or two, but I am bouncing back. What's interesting about the human mind is that even when my brain tends to fixate on a problem area or a problem thought, I am very happy about knowing that my brain will move from subject to subject almost on its own accord. And so it's almost like its own immune system. The brain has an immune system, and that immune system is the monkey mind, that the ability of the brain to be influenced by its environment and contemplate new ideas, whether it's through books or movies or magazines or other people's influences. And, I'm really glad about it. This monkey mind is something that's really important to me. Maybe the reason I value it is because I tend to be a very focused person anyway. And so if I can sort of wrench ideas out of my mind and put them in the background for a time, that is really important to me. Now, there might be other people who really don't care for the monkey mind idea, and I don't blame them at all. These are people with probably, I'm guessing, with ADHD, and where their lives are plagued by moving from one subject to another subject. For me, almost naturally, I just sort of hover around a certain set of ideas and I just never leave them. In a way, I'm sort of OCD in that respect. Not that I do have OCD, because I don't, but and I definitely feel with people who have OCD. It's just I have got the normal level of focus, and maybe even a slightly greater level of focus, which helps me in my profession and personal life. And so I'm really pleased with the focus that my brain has, because it's lent me a lot of self-discipline. One thing that a person benefits from when they're as focused as I am is that you're able to focus on your values and stay focused on them. That's not to say that I don't have my challenges, because I am challenged daily. Today I was challenged by eating food. I had a really great workout today, by the way. I worked out arms. And now you might have asked, why is it so great? Well, first of all, most of it was indoors. And I can really appreciate that because it's really starting to get cold. And I'm basically tired of working out in the cold. And I'm looking forward to this spring and summer when maybe I'll be able to work out when it's a little warmer. But I don't necessarily want to work out in the cold. I'm not necessarily a lover of the cold. But of course, I don't think it matters that much. I've been thinking lately about cultural constructs, particularly cultural constructs related to gender. The masculine and the feminine. And I'm very convinced, at least in my own mind, that this hyper-focus on gender is probably, it's a cultural influence, probably a religious influence. This whole idea of, and I'm talking about the Christian side because I'm more aware of that, but there are other religions out there. But I was going to reference the Bible and the whole Adam and Eve idea. That God created a man and a woman. I think I think that might have been the beginning of what I'd call like religious hyper gender focus. Um, and yeah, so I think, and I've spoken about this before, this uh, dominant focus on masculine and feminine energies in our culture. I think it's so unnecessary, and I'm so happy about the new generation that is growing up without a lot of cultural definitions about what it means to be a male or female, because I think a lot of that is hoo-ha. You know, basically people learn to be men and people learn to be women, and it's children who are taking in all this information from our culture and, you know, applying it to themselves. And I'm really glad to have less to know that there is like people who are less influenced by what I'd call an arbitrary distinction. You know, my mind goes to all these species of animals that, you know, you really can't tell between the genders. You know, you can't, or the sexes. You can't tell like the difference between a male penguin and a female penguin. It's sometimes, for some species of animals, it's very difficult to tell. You know, I really appreciate that. For some species of fish, it's very difficult to tell. Now, that's not to say that that's the way human beings ought to be. I suppose, you know, it makes sense to have a lot of gender differences, perhaps. But a lot of it is arbitrary and not necessary and causes a lot of pain, you know. And our society just does not treat people who have different ideas about gender well. But we're doing better with it. I think I heard recently that Sports Illustrated recently unveiled a transgender model for their bikini magazine, their bikini issue. So fascinating and wonderful. I'm just glad to see these diverse ideas about the world and what it means to be a man and woman sort of challenged, and I think it's great news, because it means that people can live the lives that they want to be. You know, it's a very existentialist idea that basically people generate, you know, their idea of their own life's purpose, and then pursue it. You know, they make it up and they make it happen, to use a David Allen phrase. And I'm just totally into the existentialist viewpoint of things. If people are here on the planet, they get to decide what it is they want to do, who they want to be, what they want to pursue, what goals they want to pursue. It's completely up to them. You know, all people have a very limited time on this planet, and, you know, I think people deserve to live the lives that they want to lead. And, you know, it is sad that people are like shamed or embarrassed or criticized for just not, you sort of living according to cultural norms, and that's unfortunate. I hope to see less of that in the future, and I think I will. I think already human beings on this planet are a lot more understanding about diverse opinions, and I think they're only going to get more understanding. Certainly as the internet takes shape, that is, unless the internet allows for and maybe makes more possible greater stovepiping of ideas. But you never know. You never know what's going to happen. I think people are going to relish the new freedom that they have to live their lives however they want. I mean, I'm already considering, you know, there are people who are YouTube entrepreneurs who basically just live the lives that they lead, and they make a living wage. In fact, many of them are even millionaires. And so it's just so awesome that people don't have to necessarily play the role of like being employed by an employer getting a paycheck every 2 weeks and all that stuff. That, which is nothing more than a role. It's just a cultural construct. Money is just a cultural construct, and so, our lives are just completely dominated by these cultural constructs that are rather arbitrary. It's important to have standardization and, a sense of security when it comes in the midst of change. And, there will always be conservative forces that try to conserve certain aspects of the world. And so, anyway, I'm just also quite glad that there's a lot more freedom being injected into the system now. People's attitudes are a little bit more lenient. And people can do what they want. I think it'll create a lot more happiness. Whether people want to stick to one gender or another, or change genders every day, that's completely up to them. Or whether they want to participate in the workaday world or not, or have relationships or not. It's really great. I'm really struck by, how, I'm thinking about like the Victorian age and how there was a lot of information and meaning relating to roles of people, and how you are in group. There are a lot of in groups and out groups, and I think about all the women who were challenged to find mates in their youth, and how even as early as age 20, 25 were considered spinsters, and how they felt embarrassed or shy because of that. And our culture can be really, really cruel sometimes. And that was back then. Our culture is still cruel in many respects. Although now that number is about 30 years old instead of 20. Not much has changed in that respect, but things are changing slowly. And thankfully, the internet is helping, I think. And so let's see, what else is going on in my life right now? Well, I want to work out more, and I want to eat less food. Well, I looked at the weather report for next week, and one thing I discovered, and one thing I learned is that next week it's going to be rather warm. We're going to have a few days where it's going to be 71 degrees. I'm really glad about that because I really want to start doing some major cardio. Maybe even doing cardio in the evenings or something like that. Because I want to start... I think I want to lose some weight. But here's the problem. It's kind of funny. I've got two desires. I've got desires to eat and desires not to eat. So how am I going to work that out in my brain? The hardest thing for a human being, and I mentioned this before, is to decide. If human beings, if I could only decide about what to do, I could be the most powerful being on the planet and have everything I wanted. But there's this sort of ambiguity. There's this ambivalence. And I tell you, I have it too. I'm not the most. I might be able to commit to going on a diet, but 2 hours later, if you show me a cupcake, I'm not promising what I'm going to do. I am not promising what I'm going to do. So it is kind of funny. Look at this. As I'm looking around and walking, I'm noticing that there's a cottage urgent care facility nearby, and I'm so glad that this place is here. I'm so glad that urgent care is so easily at hand. Not that I'll ever use it, but I might very well use it. It's a great resource for our community. I'm so glad that it's so close. What I do need to do is get enrolled in the cottage urgent care or the cottage system. I may not even have a medical record there in that system. And I've got to figure out how I want to move my dental care and move my doctor care. Oh man, look at those giant bolts and nuts. Oh, so there's going to be a light coming here. Wow, that's amazing. Oh my gosh, really? Wow, Calle Real is going to have lots of lights. So anyway, yeah, I think I'm really looking forward to figuring out how I'm going to work with my medical care. I'm really not sure how I'm going to do that. I have yet to go to the doctor really during COVID time period, which is great. But I also haven't really had to contemplate the answer to a lot of my questions about where am I going to get dental care, where am I going to go and go to the doctor. I still haven't figured those questions out yet. You know, in previous years it was just so easy. I could just go to the doctor when I wanted to go to the doctor, but now I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure how to go to the doctor anymore. Oh well, I guess we'll figure it out. So, let's see, what's going on in my mind today? Well, I've done 16 minutes of talking, and I need to do just, 4 plus 9 more minutes to go. Oh boy, it smells like popcorn right now. Or, you know, it's kind of interesting, the place where I live. There are a lot of restaurants. This is like restaurant lane where I live. And it's great because I get to smell delicious food all the time, but it's also not so great because I have to smell delicious food all the time. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just glad I'm going to the gym pretty regularly, and I'm also looking forward to getting a new car. I'm thinking about buying a Prius. Oh, and that reminds me, I really need to take this car that I have in storage and get that car turned in. I'm going to sell it to the county for $1,000. That is such a great deal. I just need to call up the dismantler and ask him how to do it. But maybe I'll get the car sold to the dismantler sometime next week, perhaps. Oh, and then I'm also needing to get a driver's license, a real ID driver's license from the DMV. I really need to take care of that as soon as possible. There's so many things I need to do. I'm going to try to, maybe I need to make a list, to-do list, so that I can remember to do all the stuff that I want to do. So what's funny is that my birthday's coming up. I'm going to be 50 years old. And you know, I want to lose a little weight. I'm feeling a little puffy in the cheeks. Here's the thing. I actually ate a lot of food for lunch today. Man, I don't know how I'm going to put a cap on this food thing. Maybe what I really need to do is just, I don't know. It's kind of funny. I really am struggling. I go back and forth between dieting and not dieting. I ask myself, am I not doing very well? I'm doing just fine. But there is a part of me that wants to get down to, say, 145 pounds. Because I think I look better when I'm a little bit lighter. But I don't know. It's actually pretty easy to be inactive in my life, in my life right now, in my line of work. I wish I could put a cap on the eating, but it's not the easiest thing to do because I enjoy eating so much. I guess what I need to do is I need to stop enjoying eating as much as I do, which is, I think, entirely feasible. What I need to do is I need to figure out a way to eat on a less palatable food. I need to just start eating less palatable food and then only eat less palatable food. And then eating food will be less desirable. I mean, it's just makes common sense. What's kind of funny is that if I go through a couple days, like 3 or 4 days of eating less palatable food, what happens almost invariably is that I notice cravings of eating. I notice more palatable food. It just becomes more and more obvious that there's more of a discrepancy between the palatable food that is around me. And so I'm really not sure what to do about it. What I do is I find myself bouncing back and forth between eating palatable food and not eating very much. And I guess what I need to do is I just need to get on the ball or something, or make a decision. I guess I'm not in a position where I have to make a decision right now, so maybe that's part of the reason why I'm waffling back and forth. Because, here's the thing. I will get on a diet and stay on a diet for 3 or 4 days, and then just have a day of eating a lot. So I don't know what to do about that. I have a feeling that this happens for a lot of people. I am sort of shifting around the things that I'm eating, though. The other day, I had a really great experience. I was traveling in my car, and I did go by a grocery store to get a snack. I got some salad. I got a bagged salad. And I was thinking, this may not turn out to be that great, because usually I just get lettuce, right? But I really enjoyed the pre-prepared bagged salad. I was thinking, man, this is really good tasting. It had radishes in it, and cabbage, and carrot slices, and all kinds of neat stuff. And, I was really enjoying the salad, and I could have definitely used a bigger bag of salad. In fact, they had bigger bags of salad in the store. I just didn't get the bigger bag. I didn't think that I would necessarily want to eat all that much salad, but believe it or not, I found the salad to be very appetizing, and I really enjoyed it, and I wanted more. So now it wasn't just lettuce, because usually I just get like green lettuce or red lettuce, or I might get some other kind of lettuce. I might get some spinach, or I might get arugula, which I really love. I really love arugula, but this time I actually got a pre-prepared salad. Now I know that there are pre-prepared salads that have those packages in it, those little packets of raisins and walnuts and cheese and meat and whatever. I did not get that. I got the kind of packaged salad that was just, strips of lettuce and radishes and carrots and things like that. It was a pretty simple salad, but it was enough. Anyway, I'm pretty excited about that. I'm hoping that the future will bring more opportunities to eat light like that when I'm traveling. Because here's the thing, I tend to eat the worst when I'm just traveling around. Getting from point A to point B, traveling by myself quite often, and doing a lot of driving. So here's the thing, when I do a lot of driving, I got nothing to think about, nothing to occupy my mind, except for maybe if I'm feeling hungry. Now that's not to say I'm not listening to the radio or listening to a podcast or have things on my mind, but it's just a lot more easy for me to be distracted by eating or drinking or wanting something to eat. And so driving, which I actually don't mind doing, I don't mind doing a lot of driving, but driving is a time when I really need to be cautious. Thankfully, when I went to the grocery store, I got a few things. I got snow peas, which have worked very well for me, and bagged lettuce, bagged salad, which I just discovered works very well for me, and bananas. I've known for a long time that bananas work for me. Bananas and apples are really great. Tomatoes are nice too. I've also really appreciated eating broccoli or cauliflower bits. These are things that I can enjoy while I'm driving. Sometimes, if I'm feeling really pressed, I'll have popcorn, like a bag of popcorn, and I'll try to get the lowest calorie popcorn I can. Sometimes you can get popcorn with 50 calories a bag. Hey, how you doing?
What?
How are you doing?
Pretty good today.
Oh, good.
They're doing a lot of recycling.
Oh, really? Is that what that is? Fabulous.
Yeah, I get money for it.
Oh, wonderful. What a great pastime.
What?
What a great pastime,
What are you doing?
Well, I'm just going for a walk.
I did too, but I didn't take a walk earlier because I thought it was going to be raining.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's been a little rainy lately. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I guess it stopped raining. Yeah. I don't know for how long. Pretty close now. Bye. I wish it would snow.
So that was there's Sherry. Sherry's our next door neighbor. And oh, there we go.